And good afternoon. It is Monday, August 12th of 2019. And what do you do when you lose a pet? What do you do? Talk about it today on Guy's Daily Drive. And as I said, good afternoon. This is my drive home from work on Monday, August 12th. And I kind of covered this a little bit talking to Gaz over at the MyMac.com podcast. But for those who may not listen to that podcast, but listen to this one instead, My wife left town last Wednesday. I took her to the airport, and she flew out to see her mom and her sister Kelly out in Boise, Idaho, and get some stuff done out there for her mother. And just before she left, we all noticed that there was a kind of a downturn health-wise for Burt, our guinea pig, who we've had for 6 years. And, some people may not look at what is essentially a rodent, in the same general family, I believe, as mice and rats and some of the other, rodent-like animals. They have a much larger cousin down in South America that I think are called capos, and they are actually raised as food animals down in South America, in certain parts of South America. We've had 7 guinea pigs throughout the years, none of which have ended up on our plates. We don't eat guinea pigs. In the Searle household, we like guinea pigs. Started when my 2 boys were very young, and while they were in elementary school, so we're talking between, late 1990s to mid 2000s, when they were in middle school, that kind of time frame. They, one of their classes, and I don't remember which one, had a couple of pet guinea pigs, and various members of the class were allowed to bring the guinea pig home, or the guinea pigs home, for the weekend, to get the kids some responsibility, let them kind of feel what it's like to deal with guinea pigs, or deal with, get the responsibility of dealing with an animal on their own. So after Guy and Peter had their turns, my wife decided that it might be fun. Now, we had 2 cats at the time, Beast and Fuzz, 2 black cats, that it might be fun to have a guinea pig or 2 around. So she checked and went to the local animal shelter. We have never gone to a pet store to get guinea pigs. We've always gotten them from an animal shelter when somebody else has turned them in. And the first 2 were Godzilla and T-Rex, because the boys were into dinosaurs and Japanese monsters. And then after they passed, it was Comet and Zuko. Zuko, named after one of the characters in Avatar: The Last Airbender cartoon show on Nickelodeon. And then when they passed, we ended up with there was two more, but the one I remember the most was one that was called Cuddles, who was not at all cuddly. And for whatever reason, this guinea pig, it was a female guinea pig, did not like me. Did not like me in the slightest. And would go out of her way to show how much she didn't like me. She would nip at me anytime even I'm just trying to give her food, and she's trying to bite me. Or my wife would lay out a towel on the bed and bring the pigs out, or pig, and let them kind of wander around on the bed. And because guinea pigs are not litter trained, they pretty much, when they have to go to the bathroom, they go to the bathroom. It's what they do. So there would be accidents, and then we would clean up after those accidents, and, no harm, no foul. It's what you expect to have happen, and it did happen. But Cuddles was a special case. Not only would she keep herself from going to the bathroom, she would hold it until she could get to my side of the bed, where she would just let loose on my side of the bed, not on Tracy's side of the bed, not on the towel. It had to be, she would go out of her way to come over to my side of the bed and go to the bathroom there. So when this behavior started, needless to say, it did not make me happy. I was not a happy person over this guinea pig peeing on my side of the bed. So I would block her. I would put up an arm or a leg or, a book or whatever I had to do to keep her from getting to my side of the bed. And she would become very agitated and very angry, and would look for ways to get around whatever obstacles that I had put down to keep her from coming to my side of the bed to go to the bathroom. And this struggle went on for years, for as long as we had this guinea pig. This was a battle of wills between a guinea pig and a human. And occasionally, it's not that I would forget that she did it, but she would get onto the towel and just lay there and be all nice and comfortable and cute, and everything was fine. And I would let my guard down. And the moment she felt that my guard was down, she would rush over to my side of the bed and pee. Just zoom, pee, and then zoom back to the towel. I did not like that guinea pig. Cuddles. But the last one that we've had, and we had him for a very long time, 6 years, and typically 4 to 5 years is kind of typical for guinea pigs. It's a loud truck. But we had Burt for almost 6 years. We got Burt. And by the time Cuddles had gone on to the great beyond, I was pretty much done with guinea pigs. I could have gone the rest of my life quite happily without any guinea pigs. And then, of course, Tracy went and got another guinea pig, and it was Burt. Now, Burt had an outstanding feature that I hadn't seen on any of the other guinea pigs that we had. Now, most guinea pigs that we had, all the guinea pigs that we'd had kind of a flat face, not a very prominent nose. And when Tracy brought Burt home, his nose really, really stuck out. It was almost rat-like with how far that his nose stuck out. However, and I wasn't thrilled at the prospect of another guinea pig coming into the house. You know, it wasn't like I was like, ooh, I can't wait until we have another guinea pig. Not at all. So Burt comes into the house, and I'm not exactly enthusiastic. But he wins me over because he had such a pleasant personality. And I know it sounds weird when you attribute personality to certain animals, but he seemed to be a pretty happy guinea pig. You know, you'd walk into the room and he'd come rushing up to the bars and make lots of noise and squeak, you know, of course hoping you were bringing him food. But just all in all, a pretty darn happy little guinea pig. So when we noticed that his health was definitely declining, it looked like he was having problems seeing. He didn't really run up to the first little platform that we had. That's usually where we would put like the lettuce and things like that as special little treats. Wasn't really doing that much anymore. And this was it wasn't that long ago. And Tracy was getting ready for the trip, and by the time it came time for her to go to the airport, it was painfully obvious that Burt was in a serious decline and was probably not going to last until Tracy got home. So she left on Wednesday. And Guy and I made sure that Burt got his antibiotics for something that was going on in his mouth. We made sure that he was getting enough water. You know, we put water in a syringe and made sure that it squirted into his mouth. We made sure that he had food, and did our best to make sure that he ate it. We actually took some of the green vegetable juice and put that into a syringe and had him eat that. But by Thursday, just the next day, it was pretty obvious that he just wasn't going to last. And when I got home from work, I went in to check on him, and he was still breathing. His eyes were still open, but he was kind of lying on his side. So I got him out of the cage and put him on a towel and kept him with me while I, just kind of sat there and watched TV, and I stroked him and talked to him a little bit for all the good that was going to do. And at some point during the evening, before I had to go pick up Guy, which was around 8:30, I looked over, and he'd stopped breathing. He was dead. And it sounds weird, but it was almost like he didn't want to cause a lot of fuss and a lot of trouble. So instead of, showing a lot of outward signs and, I'm not feeling good, take me to the vet, and all the time, trouble, and expense of dealing, and we've done it before with other guinea pigs, time and trouble of dealing with a small animal like that, taking him to the vet, and the expense of it as well. It was like, no, I'm not going to make you do that. I'm going to lay here, and I'm going to quietly pass away, which is what he did. So good pig all the way around. Now Guy got home that evening, and it was like 8:45. It was already dark. And he was talking about going outside and digging a grave for Burt. Now he and Tracy had gotten together and had picked out a spot to bury him. We have like this little pet cemetery in our backyard where we've buried the some of the cats and other guinea pigs that we've had over the years. My wife and I have been married for 25 plus years, and you accumulate a number of animals in that time period. So I talked him out of doing it that night. It was already dark. So he goes out the next morning. And I had a few other things I had to do. I had to take one of our cats to the vet and get a tire repaired on Tracy's car. And Guy went out to dig a little grave for Burt. And he wouldn't touch him. He wouldn't touch Burt. I had to wrap him up in a little piece of cloth and put him in this box that he and Tracy had picked out before she had left. He can handle that, but he didn't want to touch Burt after he had died. So it's like, okay, whatever. It's not really that big a deal. It's just a little dead guinea pig. But I handled that. And he's digging this hole, and he went through a cable. And we weren't sure. He was all in a panic and came inside. And I went out and looked. And the cable looked really, really old. And we went inside and we checked, and there wasn't any reduction in service from cable. There wasn't, power wasn't cut anywhere. And this cable was only like 4 or 5 inches down into the ground. So I really didn't see how it was anything that was relatively current. Guy is all in a panic. He's thinking he's done something horribly wrong, and we need to call someone. It's like, sometimes it's best just not to say anything and wait to see what happens. And this was one of those cases. I wasn't going to call someone out and possibly get some kind of charge because Guy cut a cable while digging a grave for a guinea pig. No, I wasn't going to do that. So he dug a hole someplace else. And Burt the Guinea Pig has gone on to his afterlife, whatever there is for guinea pigs, his reward, his grand reward, or whatever you want to call it. And I found myself thinking, I contacted Tracy and I let her know. And I found myself thinking, well, I wonder if we're going to get another guinea pig. I went with Cuddles of being like, no more guinea pigs. And after the wonderful experience with Burt, it was like, I could do more guinea pigs. And that would be fine. So Burt, with his wonderful personality, his charm, his guinea pig charm, has put me back onto the guinea pig bandwagon. So there is that. So we miss you, Burt. And I hope whatever happens to guinea pigs after they pass, that you're happy and well in guinea pig heaven, or whatever it is for guinea pigs. If you would like to get a hold of me and say, Guy, why are you going on and on about a guinea pig? And you can do that. You can send me an email to guy@mymac.com. You can write to me on the Twitters. I have 2 Twitter handles, MacParrot and VertShark. You can go to vertshark.com and see all the latest stuff that I'm doing there, including this in both audio and video form. I've got the MyMac.com podcast that I do nearly every single weekend with Gary Gazmaz Malpaz. We just recorded one when we talked about dead pets on that podcast. So weird. And I also do a live cast on Wednesday nights over there in Facebook, Mac to the Future Go livecast. You can find that either in the Mac to the Future Facebook group if you belong to that, or just under my own banner over there on Facebook's Guy Searle. If you'd like to donate to help pay for the bandwidth and various things that I purchase related to podcasting, you can become a patron. Go to patreon.com/MacParrot, or do a one-time donation. Anything is appreciated. Coffee.com, ko-fi.com/MacParrot. Either of those would be appreciated. And again, you don't have to. I'll keep doing this regardless. But I would appreciate ya if you would do so. So I think that is going to about do it. Thank you for downloading, listening, and or watching Guy's Daily Drive. And I will catch you next time.